Because we're talking about beans today, have I ever told you that my dad might be the reason tins of Heinz baked beans have ring pulls on them?
What?
Yeah, we'll talk about it after the video, but first, the bean wars. Promotions are a crucial tool in the retailer's arsenal to get customers through the front door. For example, consider that time shops in the UK literally sold beans for negative money. But first, some background. In the 90s in the UK, some of the larger store chains started to see their profits dip when they noticed that there was an influx of larger mega stores selling the same shit they did, only cheaper with a hilarious off-brand name. So this is stores like Netto and things like that, and I'm assuming as a guy who's been a student, you've shopped at Netto once or twice before, and you've shopped at Aldi and all these places. What is your favourite crappy off-brand product?
I was always a big fan of Stacks.
Were they the Pringles knockoffs? I remember them. I think my favourite though is what my grandma used to buy. She was a baker, and I want you to, behind me as I say this, people know this, knock off I can't believe it's not butter. There are so many. Right now as I'm saying this, Brad's going to put behind me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's not even hard because there are so fucking many of these. And what my grandma used, and I'm not making this up, was called what? Not butter? As if they make it a question. It's like, I can't believe it's not butter. It's a declarative statement. What? Not butter? That makes it sound like people are tasting it and just going, hang on, this isn't butter. It's like, I can't believe it's not butter. It's like, yeah, I can't believe it's not butter. It tastes so good. When someone said, what? Not butter? That makes it sound like it's poison.
Hang on, you've poisoned this, you bastard.
No, I haven't.
That's like when you eat something and someone says, I'll put my dick in that. What? It's not just soup. What? Not butter? Sounds like you've actually been tricked into eating something bad. Like you eat the sandwich and go, actually, that butter was made from the flesh of manatees. What? Not butter? Oh no! So I love stuff like this. So if you've got any of your personal favourite off-brand products that I try to rip off a more famous brand, comment below with them. And if you've got pictures in, Brad will approve these ones because I want to see them too. And also send me them on Twitter because I fucking love this shit. These stuff always crack me up. It's like the Oreo rip-off, the cream betweens, that's a good one. What about all the Dr. Pepper rips off? They're like Mr. Pepper. Oh, come on, right, I'm getting shown this for the first time. Okay, come on. It's just a Dr. Pepper rip-off called Dr. Pop. These are my favourite things ever. No, you know what the ultimate one is though? The Sense of Right Alliance. Put a picture of it behind me, right? It's basically, you know those cheap, shitty, like, action figure packs you get, and they're always like, this is a bunch of toys, and these are superheroes. Yeah. The Sense of Right Alliance is like a Chinese one, where they just put in random superheroes, and it's Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Shrek, and the car from Cars. And that is known as the Sense of Right Alliance. Oh.
Right, we should probably talk about...
Right, yeah, let's talk about baked beans now. These superstores selling cheap products literally made headlines in the UK when they started selling baked beans for 7 pence a tin. About 10 cents in your inferior American money.
Shots fired. I repeat, shots fired.
Actual headline.
Yeah, I'm not making that up. When these stores started selling baked beans for 7p, that made headlines because that wasn't a price that had been seen in the UK for that particular product since the 70s. And obviously when you hear, holy shit, I can buy like a week's worth of dinners for my kids for like the pocket change I've got. Like, you're gonna rush to that store and buy it. The bigger, more established stores in the UK collectively shit their pants at this news and rushed to discount their own brand beans for a similar price.
What was it about beans being discounted that made them shit their pants? Well,
beans were the thing that were covered the most because they were what were being sold for the cheapest, but these discount superstores weren't just selling baked beans for dead cheap. It was other things like butter, bread, milk, cheese, sugar, basically everyday essentials. And these are what stores call loss leaders, which is basically where you sell something at a loss or at cost, with the idea being you'll make the few pence you lose for like every loaf of bread you sell for however many pence, you'll make it back on luxury items that you sell. So the thing is though, they're what get people through the doors, because obviously if you go to a shop, what are the few things you're going to pick up all the time? Yeah. Milk, bread, eggs, cheese, butter, all that sort of thing. And they're what get people through the door, and then you make your money on the other shit they buy while walking around. And obviously when the bigger, more established stores here, holy shit, of course people are going to go there because they can get the things they buy every day, so they need to buy bread, and if bread's cheaper, they'll go there, and then they'll buy their other bulk. Oh, I want biscuits, I'll get their biscuits, and they make money on that. People come to your store, like, we're losing money on, say, like, every loaf of bread we sell, but if everyone who buys a loaf of bread comes in and buys, like, a can of Coke, make the money straight back. 'Cause obviously the margin on that is significantly higher. And that's why these superstores like shitting their pants. People just go wherever the shit that's cheapest. You'll see it nowadays in adverts. Like, what does Asda and stuff always say they'll price match? Everyday shopping. It's always the stuff they want people to buy. It's always bread and milk. That's why milk is always £1.
So if the bigger stores then started discounting their shit, what did the cheaper stores do?
Well, what do you think they did, Brad? They discounted their beans even further. This was a war, Brad. It was a war being fought with baked beans. Stores in the UK, desperate to compete with one another, kept slashing the price of everyday essentials until the point where a week's worth of groceries could be bought for a handful of change. Now you're probably thinking, Carl, stores are always trying to slash prices to dick over their rivals. Why is this any different? Well, this is different because neither side would back down and stores continued to slash the price of everyday essentials until baked beans were selling for so little they were literally paying staff more in the few seconds it took to put them on shelves than they make back in money by selling them. What makes this funny is like shops like Netto were selling baked beans I think at one point for 3 pence, and at that point they were selling carrier bags for 5p. So it cost you more money for a carrier bag than a fucking tin of beans. And obviously like a lot of people asking, well, how are these companies making money? And the question is, they're not making any money at all on these baked beans. In fact, they're losing money with every can they sell. But the fact that you run in and buy 10 tins of beans, think, well, I'm here now, I'll get the rest of my week shopping. That's where they make their money. The example you used of an all-you-can-eat buffet, there is going to be that person who goes in there and milks the fuck out of it. He goes, I want water to drink, and eats like 8 plates.
6 bells, time for closing.
Can't talk, eating.
But for everyone else, like, all they need to do is buy like a pint of beer for the day. Everyone needs to buy a pint of beer or a glass of wine, or even a glass of Coke. And the markup we get on that is enough to pay for like all this shitty food we're giving them. Although the baked beans the stores were selling were shit, customers still recognised a good deal and walked into stores and bought literal caseloads of them. Eventually, stores had to implement limits on how many customers could buy, first 10 and later 4, when they realised that small shop owners were walking in, buying armfuls and then selling them for double the price at their own shops.
So how did this come to an end?
Well, Tesco thought they'd put an end to it by announcing to the press that they would sell baked beans for 3 pence a tin, quietly confident that no one else in the entire country would have the balls to sell baked beans for less than they did. They barely had time to announce this before the scraping sound of the balls of a guy called Chris Sanders carved their way through the pavement as he approached the newspaper and said, I can go even lower. So would you like to take a guess at how much Chris Sanders sold tins of baked beans for in his shop?
Well, it can't be less than a penny, can it? So.
Oh, it was. Negative 2 pence. He would have actually been better off just dumping his entire stock straight into the bin.
Did this actually work?
It did work, yeah, because obviously free beans. No, not even free beans. You are getting paid to take them away from the store. So obviously, in newspapers reported on it like the winner of the bean wars. The Bean Wars have got its eventual champion, Chris Sanders, negative 2 pence, suck on that Tesco. Everyone flocked to his store, he had record business for a couple of weeks, made himself a tidy little profit, got rid of a shitty mass of beans that he presumably bought for fucking nothing, because at the time, obviously remember, these things were selling for so cheap that manufacturers just had to plummet the price because they were just selling so many. So he probably didn't lose all that much money on the beans and made a fortune when he got his face in the paper.
I'm guessing no one went lower.
No one went lower, no.
I wanted to take baked beans to another level.
Yeah, well, you can't.
It's noted that Chris Sanders' negative 2 pence stunt was the end of what has come to be known by economists as the Bean Wars.
I thought that was a name you made up.
No, that's the name economists give it in economy textbooks. It's a part of British history.
It's in textbooks.
Oh yeah, economy textbooks talk about the Bean Wars with reverence because it's a time in obviously British history where this influx of stores like Netto and Aldi put basically a massive fire under the arse of like the more established bigger stores by saying you can't get away with just selling stuff for this price. We can sell it cheaper. And that was the start of like, I'm guessing you must be aware of like promotions today, or like rollback and all that other bullshit all these big stores do. So economists, they actually point to it as a part in British history where like stores realise like bigger stores from abroad can swoop in and steal customers away because they had a massive dent in their profits because of this, or because of cheap baked beans.
Baked beans on a jacket potato with a coating of cheese. You can buy them in a tin any day of the week from your local supermarket on your high street.
Okay, like, comment, subscribe, and comment with your favourite off-brand product name because I fucking love those, so that'd be fun to read through. Okay, so Would you like to hear the story of how my dad perhaps is responsible for ring pulls being put on tins of Heinz baked beans?
I would like to hear the story.
This is a story passed down in the Smallwood family because we treat beans with respect because we fucking love beans. Every male member of my family loves baked beans to the point where our family meal is known as...
People who've forgotten 2 videos ago.
Yeah, it's people who forgot. He's still here. We record a lot in a day, but he was napping, wasn't he, for the last one? And now he's up and he's gnawing on his bowl. Naughty doggy. You stop gnawing on that bowl, you. Some backstory first, though. My family fucking loves baked beans, all thanks to my granddad. And he had this meal he likes to call fried beans, which, funnily enough, is exactly what it sounds like. And basically, you get a knob of lard or any sort of oil. Butter can work as well. Put it in a frying pan, cook it till it's nice and boiling hot, pour a tin of baked beans in, and basically just stir it around for about 5 minutes so it's so sticky, when you separate them, they don't go back together for about 5 seconds. Put it on a plate on its own, eat it with bread. That is like a standard Smallwood family meal. Like me, my granddad, my dad, his brother, all my male cousins, my brothers, we all fucking love it. Years ago, before I was born, my dad was a bus driver and he was putting himself through college. And he said that he'd come in from work and he'd go to college because he was doing night classes and he'd come back in and he'd be fucking knackered. And all he'd want was a tin of beans. And he said it used to piss him off because he'd come in, my mum would be in bed, my brother would be asleep. He'd have to rattle around in a drawer in the dark to get a can opener out to open this tin of beans just so he can get something to eat. And it annoyed him because he noticed that baby food made by Heinz would have a ring pull on it. And this really pissed him off. So what he did is one of his college courses, he was asked like design a product because he was like, he did art and stuff as well. And he went, you know what? I'm going to look and he did a full study on the viability and the money that would be saved by ring pulls being put on tins of Heinz baked beans. And he went as far as like he rung up the company and he asked them why they didn't do it. He approached people in public, he did a massive survey of all his people that he knew at college. I'm not fucking joking. He did an entire design brief for it because he was like, he did art and stuff at school and he was really good at drawing and designed what the cans could look like. And he worked out like the cost and things like that of how much it cost. He presented that as a piece of coursework to his teacher. Got a really good grade for it. Couple of months later, Heinz baked beans started putting ring pulls on their tins of beans. I remember my dad researched the fuck out of this subject, including ringing up the company and asking why that wasn't the case, and asking them why they didn't do it if they did it with their baby food, telling them it'd probably be a really good idea. It's like, you know, people who don't have can openers, and it just saves time. Plus, you probably wouldn't lose all that much money because you'd do it for your other products. So he is insistent that maybe it wasn't his idea entirely, but he may have been the linchpin for the person in the company going, hang on, who's this sneaking in? I'm talking about baked beans. You know how important that is? It's sad. Right, so my dad is insistent that he may have been the linchpin for why that is the case. And all me and my brothers, we still believe it because like, he run up the company and then a couple of months later, baked beans have ring pulls. Heinz baby food, which he fed to my brother and stuff, that did have ring pulls on it. So the company knew they could do it. But why? Why after he starts asking them? So yeah, if you've ever had a tin of beans and you've not had to get a can opener and you've opened it up with a lovely ring pull on top, you can thank my fucking dad. I don't care if it's not his fault, I'm going to tell people that it is because it sounds awesome.
I thought he was a social worker.
He is, yeah.
Why was he doing design for?
Because he did a minor in product design.
I'm learning more about your dad every day, aren't we?
The story I've heard, 'cause he doesn't like telling it because he's like, oh, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. He's like really bashful about it. But my mum, when she told me that story, like, yeah, he is insistent that it's him. Like, you ask him and he's like really bashful. He's like, oh no, it was just a stupid thing I did in college. My mum's like, no. He took that thing so seriously. Like, he did more research than I've seen him do for his degree that he got his job with. This thing to get babies, because he was so passionate about it, because it pissed him off so much. Said she'd come down when he was rattling through the cupboard, like to look for the can opener and go, Stu, what's up? He goes, can't find a fucking can opener, I just want a tin of beans. And he go, they've got fucking can out ring pulls on baby food. It's owned by Heinz. Babies don't even open the can. And he got so animated that he made it his like mission to like basically point this problem out to the world.